is immoral for us to kill.
Why are
What's the
so?
distinction? We are animals.
Why are we moral then? Is it our level of intelligence? And by the
Yes.
way, this is kind of an area that I haven't thought too much into. Okay, so and then here's my second hypothetical: can you have a super intelligent alien species that can kill us without having any morals? And then the human race is dead.
Sure. You could have
And like
just
they don't
because
have
somebody's
any moral.
yeah, I mean, well, think about it. Just because they're technologically advanced doesn't mean they have to be benevolent. I mean, do you cry when you step on an anthill? You're going to think twice about it?
No,
No.
no.
No. And so there might be some super genius race out there that doesn't give a crap about the fact that we exist on this planet. And if they wanted to come take our resources, they wouldn't even give us any consideration whatsoever.
Okay,
We would call
Steve.
that immoral, but they may
Right.
not.
Well, okay, so what about people now that are advocating against eating animals? They're kind of like a lower life form compared to us in regard of intelligence and or whatever else you want to categorize them as lower in. So are we becoming cognizant because we're becoming intelligent enough to understand that because we value ourselves, our conscious life, and because we can see demonstrated behaviors with lesser life forms, that we should also take care of them as well, instead of just eating them and serving them up in the buffet? What?
I don't have a major issue on ethical veganism per se, and that's exactly what you're describing, ethical veganism. Why do you not eat meat? Because I don't think it's ethical to do so. If people want to take an ethical stand, they're allowed to. I'm not an ethical veganism. I like meat. But I understand the ethical veganism position, right? But the thing is we are biologically omnivores. We are designed to eat meat. We're designed to eat plants. We eat both, and there's certain proteins you can generally only get from meat. So I think it's very unhealthy, personally, to just have a vegan type thing. Now, I like vegan food sometimes. I'm actually, about a year or two ago, got introduced to some very good vegan dishes, and I was like, man, this stuff's really good, actually. But if somebody says, well, we are stewards to animals, right? We are a higher life form when it comes to intelligence. Now, are we more evolved than any other group animal? No. All life is the same amount involved. Every species that exists on the planet today has evolved the same amount of time, right? So we are no more evolved than an ant, but we do have higher cognitive functions, right? We have executive functions, we have cognitive decision-making abilities they don't have. And because of this, I think we've recognized that we do have things that are empathy, and other primates they've shown empathy. Even pachyderms have shown empathy. So we recognize that we need to be stewards to these animals, or the lower, species that you're talking about. So I believe that they should be, for food, but in an ethical type means. I'm not for trophy hunting. I'm fine for hunting for thinning out the herds, right? I like to fish. I know that the fish probably feel some kind of pain, but they don't have a brain nervous system that I think that we kind of have. But I think we have a responsibility to treat animals with some kind of stewardship and some type of respect. Most of us love dogs, cats. Think about it. Most people are more mortified by seeing somebody hurt a dog than another human being.
Yeah.
I'm actually one of those kind of people too. I mean, you hurt a dog, and I'm probably going to try to take your life. I mean, it's just a triggering type thing, right? So I think, as an evolved species, we nurture our young, right? We protect our children, and I think we translate a lot that into protecting the defenseless things like animals like cats and dogs. And so I think we do have a responsibility for that, and I don't have any problem with ethical veganism personally, if that answers your question. Probably a long-winded way of answering, but
No, it's all good. Because we recognize that we have biological drives to steward other life forms alongside us, and that there could be, potentially, possibly, an alien super race out there that might treat us a corresponding way, how we would treat other life forms alongside us on Earth. Because we can recognize that, ought we to abide those biological urges, or can we deviate from that? And let's just start there. Can we deviate?
That goes by your morality, right? I mean, if you think there's an objective fact out there that we ought to do something, you're objective, moral objectivist.
Let me stop you right there, Steve.
There's levels there.
Steve, let me stop you.
Sure.
Let me just say the person recognizes they want to abide their biological urges. But for experiment's sake, for lack of a better term, right now, let's say they're like, you know what? There is no real reason to get the ought from the observation, the ought from the is. Hey, we have some sort of system. Don't kill. Okay. Steward animals. Okay, fine. But at this point, I would like to deviate my life a little bit and see where the dice land. After all, we've evolved this way. So essentially, these behaviors and patterns have been handed down to us. What if a whole group of people just choose to stop abiding this type of biological urge or, cognitive patterns, and they just flip it? They just go against their instincts and they flip it. Ought they not to?
Well, again, it goes by your ethical framework. You can say this. A subjectivist and objectivist would both agree there are moral facts, and people get that confused. They hear the word subject. Oh, morals are subjective. Well, yes, but if that's true, then you're saying that there are moral facts, right? But they happen to be subjective, right? People think that if you think that it's subjective, there are no moral facts. No, a subjectivist is saying there are moral facts, but they're contingent upon what we think. So in that case, what you're talking about is that each person would have to decide for themselves individually what their idea of morality is, which is subjective to their minds. Now, I don't have a problem with that. And I don't think that it's a binary thing. I don't think morals are either objective or subjective. I think there's a quasi-realism in some way. But I tend to what's called error theory, which is completely different. But the first thing you have to look at is, are morals absolute, right? And absolute doesn't mean objective. There's three main categories in moral objectivism. There's moral universalism, moral realism, and moral absolutism. And they mean different things. And there's not a one-size-fits-all. I would probably go to the lowest level of moral objective, which is called moral universalism, if I was deciding that morals do have some type of a reality. They're a fact, just like any other fact of the universe. I just particularly don't go to that. I think I tend to more of an anti-realist position. But that doesn't mean that it can't be the other way, right? So when you're asking me, can these people flip the switch? Well, sure, they can be subjectivist. Or they can be what's called a cultural moral relativist and say, okay, well, our society does it this way. Well, this other society does it that way. My society is no more moral than that society, right? And we do that all the time. We do compare morals, right? What we find immoral here may not be immoral somebody else. And so in an Arab country, if you show ankles, that's immoral. But over here, it's not. So morals do change culturally. Now, is there some kind of objective fact that makes showing ankles immoral? No, I don't believe that. Could there be other objective facts that exist? Yes, possible. So it's a very complicated landscape. It's not one size fits all, to say the least.
Okay. So I feel like the examples you just brought up are the easy to target examples.
Are you gonna make this hard for me now?
I'm going to try to make it hard for you. I want to press it. Morality is something that I struggle with.
I didn't study up for this.
Good. Let's work our way through it. All right. We're going to take one more punch at it.
I just like my beard. It makes everything look so much better. Yeah, exactly. Like I pretend like I know what the hell he's talking about. Okay.
I don't know what I'm talking about. But
I don't either half the time. Just ask anybody. I get so much shit, dude. You don't even know.
That's what your co-host was trying to tell me, but you were making a lot of sense on that show.
I try. The people that actually go out of the way to understand me come back and go, damn, you were right, or damn, that made sense now that I think about it. They have again, they get that Pavlovian knee-jerk reaction, but once that kind of goes away, they're like, oh crap, yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay, cool. All right, stump me. Go ahead. Take your best shot.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to draw a far-fetched analogy, and I'm going to try to see if we can link it in some abstract
It's got to do with aliens, right?
Not aliens. Let's go black holes. I tried this with another guest later, and I think whoever I tried it on, I lost almost instantly. We'll see if this goes somewhere.
I just had 2 shows on black holes. One earlier today with Dr. Filip Gojkovic, and then I had another black hole show on my channel, Steve McRae, YouTube. Go check it out. That was on black holes with Dr. John Kroon. So take a best shot. I like black holes.
Awesome. Okay, let's run with this. All right. A black hole does not care about you. Can we agree to that?
I don't know. There might be some black holes that fall in love with me. I'm not that unlovable, but sure.
Good. That just adds to the argument. Okay, so black holes will just, let's say, annihilate you. Let's forget all the, if it retains data, can data exit the universe, all that. Forget that conversation, okay? As you are, if you travel into a black hole or a star does or whatever, it just annihilates you and it consumes you. It possesses you. Okay. That's like the strongest thing we're aware of in the universe, materially speaking. So, ought black holes to be going around and doing that? Should we tell them to stop? And if they don't stop and there's no force which can confront a black hole successfully, then has our evolutionary progression as humans, other species, somehow given us a false sense of security? We're supposed to preserve ourselves. Why?
Well, first of all, there's hypothetically what's called Type 3 civilization, and a Type 3 civilization can actually harness the power of a black hole, right? We're not up there yet. We're like a Type 1, but we're not even there yet. Like I think we're 0.7 on the Kardashev, what is it,
Kardashev scale? Yeah.
Kardashev. I have a hell of a time with these weird. I know what it is when I see it, right? But I hate pronouncing some of these words. But yes, we're like a 0.7 on the Kardashev scale.
Yeah,
I can do it now when I'm not thinking about it, right? But black holes don't have agency, right? They're not agents of something of consideration, right? We don't think of inanimate objects as something that has any kind of intellect, unless you believe in a thing called a sentience, where you have like cells that actually think. It's nonsense. It really is. I don't believe anything without some kind of neural activity has a consciousness of any kind. That's just what I believe. I don't accept dualism. I'm a monolith when it comes to that. But black holes are not something we have any kind of moral responsibility to. Same way with when you dream. The people in your dream, they're not moral agents. You have no ethical consideration for them. You don't have any. You can't do anything immoral in a dream by the fact that it is morally inert, any more than you can play a video game and do something immoral to an NPC, right? Because the NPC is not an agent of moral concern. Now, it might be. One could argue another player. You cheat. To another player. Is that immoral? That's an argument to be made, right? Because you're dealing with somebody who's using an avatar that represents their agency. But if you just do something to a non-playing character, then you haven't committed an immoral act. Black holes were the same thing. They're not agents of moral consideration. So we don't have to give a damn if they're what they do. And they do, like you said, destroy everything, except for angular momentum, charge, mass, and information, depending on if you ask Susskind or Hawking. But, well, he's dead, so you can't ask him. But, by the way, rest in peace. Big fan of Stephen Hawking. When he passed, it was one of the biggest losses I think we've ever had in the scientific community. But yeah, I don't think the question really makes much sense, because we don't really give a damn what black holes do. We can't change it anyways, right? And they don't go around going, hey, you know what? I want to go eat Steve or something.
Okay, cool. So we're then drawing a distinction between what we're referencing as agency and then the rest of the material universe that we don't recognize agency in. Did we just draw that distinction?
Yes, I don't believe that. Like my cup, which is, by the way, is kind of cool. It has no agency, right? It's not an object we care about. We can do whatever we want with it. I can throw it against the wall. I can smash it. There's nothing illegal about that. There's nothing immoral about that.
Yeah. All right.
Although I want to do this because I really like this cup.
Let's do a cut real quick. Speaking of black holes, the universe, and all of that, we're going to cut to a little video, and it'll be something that I'm sure everybody likes, and we'll come back and we'll talk about this a little bit more.
But they think that if we don't matter 5 billion years from now, if there's going to be a time when there is a last human that dies out, or the planet is destroyed and our existence is eliminated from all memory, then what's the point? They start sobbing. Why even live at all? Our lives, our existence now, came at the cost of billions of prior lives.